How can anyone live the good life on welfare? It is such a pitifully small and stingy amount. Anyone on welfare, unless they are receiving an income from another source simultaneously, are in a condition of deprivation, not by choice. Being on welfare is no vacation. It is a miserable, vulnerable, dangerous position of greatly diminished options and social stigma. I think with the onset of 3D printing that perhaps building small homes like 200 square foot cottages for homeless or needy or low-income people may become an option to explore. I think that we should use organic hemp and completely non-toxic natural materials. No endocrine disruptors or heavy metals or any chemicals that are caustic or harsh on the organism, on the body, cause rashes or anything. Perhaps they could be situated in villages where urban agriculture could be practiced. Maybe there could be solar panels placed on top of each structure. There could be minimalist interiors, simple small stoves or ovens, maybe, just very simple, maybe just one or two burners and a small oven. Maybe, maybe have a shower with a basin that is also used as a squat toilet. So the shower installation is like one with the toilet, and the toilet would be the floor of the basin of the shower area. Perhaps there could be like a a slot or something, or a lid or something, perhaps maybe an airtight lid or something that a person can just lift up or open up so they can have a squat toilet, a very simple squat toilet. May sound silly to think about this, but actually squat toilets are more healthy than seated toilets and are used all around the world. So, then they could, seal it back up and wash the area with the shower hose that's also part of the overall showering area. Okay, I'm just reading this that I wrote earlier, so it would be good to have a conversation exploring ideas like this where you take into account problems that could go wrong. Ideas for making a high-quality living environment for people and other aspects surrounding this topic. So it would be good for people to just, sit and think, what would I want if I was poor or homeless? What would make my life better? What would reduce the amount of suffering, reduce the amount of problems that could cause more problems, and just think, maybe there could be this or that or this. I think it's good to have conversations like this, but I rarely find people wanting to engage in this type of thought experiment or just meditation. So I'd like to see more of that. Could there be a security? Could there be a security person assigned to each village? So there's oftentimes in low income, there can be tension, and there can be people who might be not so, there might be some, problems with security. Maybe someone is, a bully or something, and they might, come and harass another person. I mean, that happens a lot. There's a lot of dysfunction and emotional distress, all throughout society, not just poor, but rich and poor. But if you're rich, or if you have money, you can always go see a therapist, or you can call the police and they come and help you. But if you're poor or low income, you kind of just have to give in to the bullies a lot of times. But maybe if there was a security station, with maybe it could even be one of the people who live there that functions as a intermediate person between, a security person between the village and the police, if some problem arises. Perhaps a counseling center. Again, maybe one of the people maybe a counselor could be assigned to each village, especially if maybe some of the villages might be have people with mental health issues. There could be a counselor who could also function as an intermediate person between, who could help them get their social work done, help people with social work, because I know that I need a lot of help with social work, filling out forms, seeing the social worker, making appointments, and I'm sure that there's a lot of other people who have the same needs, and it's hard to find someone to help you. Perhaps there could be someone there who could be an intermediate person to help people that you could get a appointment with, and they'll help you out. Okay, an exercise center. There could be there could be extra weights and stuff for people to use. Maybe a branch of the YMCA could be in every one of these places. A green to do yoga on, or jog around. An aesthetically pleasing, large, decent-sized green for people to be able to play or run around on, or walk around on, or sit out in the sun, or maybe have a drum circle, or whatever people would want to do. Let's see. You wouldn't want the structures to be high maintenance or prone to falling into dilapidation within 10 years. Maybe they could have very simple dome-like shape built close to the ground. So maybe in this space, I think about how there's a lot of tent cities in the country where homeless people will go and out in the woods and have tents, and they'll have a community of tents and stuff. What if a billionaire or a millionaire just decided, I'm going to buy one of these plots of land, and I'm going to replace all their tents with 200 square foot hemp domes, and they can just stay right there on that plot of land instead of being evicted or whatever when people get evicted by the police, or they just they would just buy it and they would set this up like that and allow people to live there, perhaps low rent, maybe free, or maybe low rent. Not sure of all the logistics, but something in that area. Okay, let's see what else is here. Yes, so you wouldn't want the structures to be high maintenance or prone to falling into dilapidation within 10 years. So yeah, like I was thinking of just simple dome structures made from hemp, solid dome structures, where the walls are filled right in so that it stays warm inside of them in the winter and stays cold stays cool in the summer, perhaps, and also so that there's a degree of psychological space so you can't hear everything through the walls, because it's easy when things are built cheaply, ticky-tacky, you can hear right through the walls. You can't really have much psychological space when every word you say, every time you want to jump on a rebounder or something, any noise you make is going to bring undue attention or unnecessary or unwanted attention towards you. Maybe from a person who's antagonistic, or perhaps themselves emotionally unbalanced or distressed or whatever. It's good to have, some psychological space and some room to speak out and to talk and to speak up and to play a guitar and to do some exercises, to have a heated discussion with a friend or whatnot. So next part. I know from living in low-income levels that there's not enough psychological space. Everything you do in your apartment can be heard by nosy, prying neighbors. Maybe they're not always nosy. They might just be. Sometimes they can be. That's not good. But other times they can just be, just overly aware of your presence, and you just don't want to have people aware of you every second, every time you move, every time you breathe. So if you want to have a heated discussion with a friend, or if you want to practice music, or if you want to engage in vigorous exercise in your room, others can hear it and they bother you or harass you or come check on you or they complain, etc. Okay, so covering this again, it would be good to create cottages with solid walls that you cannot hear through, so you can have that privacy and security and psychological space to be yourself. It would be good for people to look at it from that perspective. Ask themselves how they would like to have it if they lived there, and then have conversation on ideas for making it good, safe, decent quality environment for people to live in. It is not a good idea to just stuff people into cheap, toxic structures, as we often do. We stuff them. If we can even find housing, we put people into crappy, bad, low-income, dilapidated, toxic, depressing buildings and small apartments that aren't very good for that aren't good for your psychological outlook. They aren't good for your physically. There's a lot of chemicals that get into you. Depressing. The chemicals from the paint, the lead chips, the varnishes that they put on everything, and the carpets are filled with endocrine disruptors and other toxic things. So that is good to keep in mind, and I think as we move into the future, we should keep that in mind for all structures that we build, not just, for everybody. So to conclude this, I'm just throwing around ideas. It's good to be thinking and meditating on ideas. Of course, action is very important, but rush to action without well thought out plans is not good. It can present new problems down the road. So people are just going to say, let's just hurry up and stuff people into small places, and not consider having higher goals so that people can have more happiness and more health and well-being. Then I don't think that's good to rush into that. Of course, if you can get someone a shelter, then that's what they need now, but we should still be working towards higher goals, towards helping people, and that will help everybody, I think. Okay, thanks for listening, and have a good day.